The book I chose to read was In the Garden of Beasts by Erik Larson. This deep and thought-provoking book is about Nazi Germany in the years 1933 and 1934. William Dodd, the main character, becomes America's first ambassador in Germany, and he brings his family along with him to live in Berlin. In the beginning, the family loves Berlin, and they don't see anything wrong with Hitler. Throughout the book, this family gets exposed to the horrors of the early stages of discrimination against the Jews. The history part of this book starts with Hitler being appointed chancellor by President Hindenburg on January 30th, 1933, in hope of leading the nation out of the economic and political grave in the reminiscence of World War I. Becoming chancellor gave Hitler a tremendous amount of power over the German government, but most politicians believe that they could still control Hitler's influence over Germany. Many people didn't see anything wrong with Hitler's views despite several warnings. A Chicago Daily News reporter named Edgar Maurer stated, "What he's saying about the Jews is serious. Don't underestimate him." Several news reporters around the world who observed Hitler had made reports of all the chaos that had started to happen, but nobody believed them. One example of this described in the book is when a reporter told his boss of a terrible street attack on people who had married a Jewish person. The boss told the reporter that he was a liar, but then the boss himself soon witnessed one of the street attacks and decided to publish the reporter's story written on the violence against the Jews. When things got more serious, the reporters were even reluctant to report their findings. They were worried of the public's reaction to what was happening. Hitler's actions were planned out and intelligent in the worst way. He slowly and methodically made each of his moves until he had gained enough trust from his followers and he had complete power over Germany. The book describes the passing of a motion that Hitler worded in such a way that 95% of Germany's voting population voted yes on. The book states, "Every German could find a reason to justify voting yes. If he wanted peace, if he felt the Treaty of Versailles had wronged Germany, if he believed Germany ought to be treated as equal by other nations, or if he simply wished to express his support for Hitler and his government." Not only did he rig the polls with his careful wording of the proposal, but he was quoted in print on the official Nazi newspaper saying, "In order to bring about clarity, it must be repeated again. He who does not attach himself to us today, he who does not vote and vote yes today, shows that he is, if not our bloody enemy, at least the product of destruction, and that he is no more to be helped. It would be better for him, and it would be better for us, if he no longer existed." Hitler's propaganda was masterful, but he was rich with power. Thanks to Hitler, the Nazis believed that the Germans were racially superior, and that there was a struggle for survival between them and inferior races. They saw Jews, Roma, and handicapped individuals as a serious biological threat to the purity of the German race, or what they called the master race. His followers gave him the power to murder tons of innocent people just for their genetics. This is just the smallest portion of what is mentioned in the book. There are several important events and people mentioned in Germany's history that are followed throughout the book, and the book only covers Hitler's first 2 years with power and public influence. What scares me the most after reading about Hitler's early stages is how many parallels can be formed between Germany's government and society in 1930 compared to our government and society in America today. If you Google Nazi Germany compared to America today, you will find thousands of links comparing the two. Some are statements or laws passed that are taken way out of context, but some of the points made are shocking and horrifying. Germany lived in fear, and Hitler played on their fears to gain power. What is going to stop that from happening in our world today? We live in severe fear of terrorist attacks and the start of another world war. With 9/11, the shooting in Orlando, and bombing all around the country, we are living in fear, and in the midst of our fear, it is quite possible for history to repeat itself, and for us humans to blindly follow another's intentions that they claim are for the greater good, just like Hitler did.